In spring of 2016, I reviewed 2 bags of Arizona Paydirt with 1 gram of gold added to each one from Jimbo's Gold. They both did really good. I got about 1¼ grams of gold out of each one for a return on investment of about 84%, which is really good. During the summer of 2016, though, I found out that Jim Hamilton, who runs Jimbo's Gold, was reformulating some of his bags. So I thought it'd be a good idea to get another one of these to see if the high return on investment is still what you're getting when you buy one of these. The bags are still $57.49, and that includes shipping. Actually, shipping is free for anything over $35. The classification didn't turn up any surprises. This is consistent to what I found back in spring. And now this is pay dirt, not dredge con, so you're going to have a lot of the very fine material. But it's remarkably clean for a pay dirt. It's not real dusty when you're classifying it. One thing about this pay dirt is that it is very, very low in black sand. So let's see how much gold we can find out of this and see how it compares to the earlier reviews. I've been asked why I waste time hand picking for pieces of gold through the larger meshes when I'm going to run everything over the miller table anyway, and I'll find it there. The reason is, of course, it's more fun, but an additional benefit, oh, there's one, is that when you're hand picking, each little discovery is a unique event, and that gives it a more personal note. When you're panning, for example, you're not finding pieces of gold, you're finding a bunch of gold, and all the individual pieces are kind of lost in the crowd. When you're hand picking, you get a good close-up look at what each individual piece of gold is, and you develop a better appreciation for it. Another advantage of hand picking is that you get an early view, oh, there's one, of how good the gold is. For example, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but this piece is nice and shiny and clean, and that's probably a high carat piece of gold. This one is dull and has some what almost looks like red tarnish to it. That's probably some rose gold, gold with copper in it, and that's not as pure or as valuable. This piece is very dull and dirty. So it just adds another layer of interest to the gold finding process, and it's one I really enjoy. Another interesting thing about hand picking is how quickly the human eye can adapt to spot gold. And a lot of times gold will be buried under several grains of coarser rock, and yet just the tiniest hint, just a little bit of glint of that unique metallic yellow luster, and you know that there's a piece of gold buried there. And just like that one. And here's what I had 2 hours later. 3 from the plus 12, 28 from the plus 20, and 37 from the plus 30. That's a grain of rice for comparison. This was a nice 2 hours, very relaxing, just slowly working through the meshes and picking out pieces of gold. I usually don't go smaller than the 30 mesh. The 50s, it's just a little too small, a little too tedious because, especially with pay dirt, there's so much material to work through. Next, let's get to the miller table and see what else we can find. And here's what the miller table produced. I found 1 20 mesh, 6 more 30 mesh, about 100 in the plus 50 mesh, about the same in the plus 70, many hundreds in the plus 100s, and well over 1,000 in the minus 100 meshes. Let's get out the scale and see what the total comes to. And let's see what we got. Okay, 0.899 grams. That's disappointing. This is advertised as having 1 gram of gold added. In the past, I got about 1¼ grams, so I got a little bit more. This would seem to verify that Jim Hamilton has reduced the amount of gold in his pay dirts, which is unfortunate because he used to have the top 5 spots on my list, and now he's down in the lower of the top 10. So I guess I found out what I wanted to know, that he has reformulated all of his pay dirts, and that you can't necessarily count on getting the high returns that you could at the beginning of 2016. But not great results, but let's look at the numbers, and as always, thank you for watching.